Hi guys, welcome. Hope you're all doing well. Kevin Shirka here. So, if you're not aware about this whole situation, basically there was a film called Coyote versus ACME, which is based on, the iconic Looney Tunes characters, and the film was complete. I think John Cena was even supposed to be in it. This was really, highly anticipated. A lot of people were really excited about this film. And then last year, Warner Brothers announced that they were not going to release the film ever. They were going to kill it, even though it was completed. And that made a lot of people really upset. I'm not like a huge Looney Tunes, big fan or anything like that. Of course, I saw Space Jam when I was a kid. That movie meant a lot to me, and I saw back in action. So, I always thought it would be cool that to continue those type of movies, and it was exciting that they were bringing that back with this film. And obviously they made Space Jam 2 as well, but we found out that that was not going to happen. Unfortunately, there was a few months where it seemed like there was a chance that they might release the film, but apparently that's not going to happen now. But now the plot has apparently been leaked. So I'm going to go over this plot, basically, and see what this thing is all about. And, this is kind of going to be, I think, a bittersweet experience here because... from an artist perspective, it really sucks considering, this was like a completed project. All these people worked on this, and their work is never going to be seen, even though it's complete. Like, it makes no sense to me. It's just, oh man, I think it's a terrible, terrible situation. But yeah, I'm gonna go over this now, and see what this is all about. So. This is the leaked plot that I'm about to tell you here. So let's take a look. So the movie is set in a Roger Rabbit type world where humans and cartoon characters live together. All animated characters are rotoscoped over the live action footage in 2D Roger Rabbit back in action style. Wile E. Coyote is silent the entire movie, communicating only in gestures or with signs. And the movie starts with a flashback to 1985, a cartoon Peter Lorre, and it is specifically Peter Lorre, interfaces with an ACME assembly line and gets thrown into a portable hole. So I guess first reaction, yeah, and I mean, pretty much what we knew. Wile E. Coyote's silent the entire time, but the style is like, the Looney Tunes movies or Roger Rabbit type of thing. Peter Lorre, that's pretty interesting that they involved him. I love Peter Lorre; he's wonderful. He was in a sort of unofficial James Bond movie, by the way. Anyways, flash forward to the present day. Wile E. Coyote tries one of his usual plans to catch the Roadrunner, and predictably fails. He returns dejected to his cave, where he sees a TV ad for a local law firm promising compensation. Inspired, he catches a bus to Albuquerque. So that's a funny, that's a funny idea. That's your catalyst for the movie, is that he sees this ad, and that's, that's going to be the new adventure for him, the new twist. So that's very funny. I really like it so far. Here we meet our real protagonists, Kevin Avery, Will Forte, of the Avery, Jones, and Maltese law firm. So Kevin Avery, who is played by Will Forte, just to make that clear, of the Avery, Jones, and Maltese law firm. Once an ambitious go-getter, Avery has taken the easy path in his career, always taking small cases, settling out of court for small sums, and living in a rundown motel. He meets Wiley, who puts forward his case, intending to sue Acme Corporation for damages. I'm kind of curious how how do they visualize if Wiley is mute the entire film? How does he explains. Probably they have like pictures and yeah, it's just interesting to think about what they did, which we'll never get to see. Anyways, so he meets Wiley, puts forward the case, intending to sue the ACME Corporation for damages. In this setting, ACME Corporation is one of the world's largest conglomerates, implied to be the parent company for several real-world corporations. Doritos are specifically named in the screenplay as an ACME product in universe. Great, meta ideas and humors. Avery thinks it's just going to be a small one-and-done settlement like usual, but Wiley secretly submits hundreds of complaints spanning his entire career with the help of Paige Avery, Kevin's young, optimistic niece, interning at the firm, who idolizes Avery and dreams of becoming a lawyer herself. The legal complaints get submitted to Buddy Crane, head lawyer for ACME, and an old acquaintance of Avery. John Cena plays this character, Buddy Crane. They meet up, and Buddy slips Avery a check for $50,000 to drop the case, but Wiley destroys it, intending to push it all the way. Buddy threatens Avery that he's going to do everything in his power to destroy him and his case. Avery, inexperienced in actual court trials, desperately wants to drop the case, but the firm informs him that ACME's extortionate legal fees will bankrupt them regardless of whether they proceed or not, and decide to move forward expecting to lose horribly either way. The trial begins with a no-nonsense judge who has no patience for any of Wiley's cartoon antics. They humiliate themselves trying to demolish the faulty nature of ACME's products, and the case seems decided against them already. Wiley stays with Avery in his motel, constructing implements for some kind of secret plan of his own. Both Avery's firm and ACME attempt to find the Roadrunner and get them as a witness, but they are unable to make contact. Oh man, I'm reading this for the first time. You could probably tell, and it's a really funny story. Just like so many creative, ideas here. At ACME HQ, we meet the head of ACME's animated products department, Foghorn Leghorn, who instructs Buddy to get the case wrapped up ASAP before something is made public. At the motel, Avery gets a call from an ACME whistleblower, the voice of Bugs Bunny, who leads him, Wiley, and Paige to an asylum of some kind where they find Daffy Duck. Avery asks Daffy about ACME, causing him to have some kind of mental breakdown. He secretly hands Avery a box and seemingly warns him about something before being led away by nurses. Sorry, usually when I make a video, like, I read through it and so I'm like sharp, but I just wanted to have like my reaction as I read this thing. So sorry if I'm going a little bit slow here, but I appreciate you bearing with me. All right, so once again, so Daffy Duck, Avery asks him about ACME causing him to have a mental breakdown. He secretly hands Avery a box and seemingly warns him about something before him being led away by the nurses. As they leave, Avery finds the message, "That's all, folks," painted on his car windscreen before it suddenly gets smashed by a large boulder. Somebody wants to cover this up. After fleeing for their lives, they inspect the box and find a strange cartoon paint can inside, which Wiley uses to paint a tunnel on the wall, which they enter. Inside the tunnel, they find an image of a man pushing a boulder up a hill and a secret message to Daffy mentioning something called Project Syphilis. So, they are forced to flee an oncoming train before they can read further, though. The ACME operative spying on them is revealed to be an older, bitter Tweety who reports to someone that they know about Project Syphilis. Paige sees this as a potential huge break in the case, but Avery tells her to temper her expectations. They argue, and Paige tells Avery that she used to look up to him, but after seeing how it works, doesn't believe in him anymore. He realizes that she's right. Avery takes a drive with Wiley and tells him about his backstory, why he wanted to be a lawyer, and why he lost his enthusiasm, etc. Avery went to a top legal school with Buddy. Once he passed the bar and became a lawyer for real, he couldn't win any cases despite being top of his class and grew jaded about his own skills. Wiley takes the car to a canyon edge and makes a show of trying to jump off the cliff to the other side, failing each time, but keeping at it. Avery realizes Wiley's point, never give up, no matter how impossible it seems. Okay, so Wiley's basically, since Wiley can't talk, he's going to be, doing actions in order to demonstrate, what he's feeling, what he wants to express. Okay, so they return to the motel and Avery catches a glimpse of Wiley's real plan. The entire legal suit is all just a ploy to get the Roadrunner on the witness stand so Wiley can catch him. It's wonderful. Paige looks into Project Syphilis. Sisyphus. Project Sisyphus. I kept saying Project Syphilis. Sorry, guys. I think my reading of this thing is almost as funny as the story itself, huh? Well, I hope you're entertained. Project Sisyphus. Alright, Paige looks into Project Sisyphus and finds a lead connecting it to Dr. Lori, as well as an address connected to him. Avery and Paige head there where they meet Granny, the old woman from the Sylvester and Tweety cartoons. She tells them that she was married to Dr. Lori long ago. He worked at ACME helping develop their animated products line, but became dissatisfied with the work before suddenly disappearing in 1985. Granny tells them that she's recently been receiving messages from an unknown caller and plays back a voicemail, Bugs Bunny. Avery recognizes the voice and Granny leaves them the tape. They are secretly photographed leaving the house by ACME. Let me see. So we are just about halfway through this thing right now. Let me see. Alright, at the ACME legal offices, Foghorn Leghorn tells Bunny that Avery knows too much and that he is sending in the big guns after him. An off-screen assassin throws a bomb into Paige's window, but she survives the attempt. Playing back the Bugs Bunny tape, Wiley hears something in the background and filters the sound to uncover a music track playing in the background, which Avery traces to the Albuquerque annual Carrot Festival. Heading to the Carrot Festival grounds, they encounter a shadowy figure. He speaks in the Bugs Bunny voice, but it's not actually Bugs, it's Dr. Lori, still alive and speaking through a voice filter. Lori explains the background of Project Sisyphus. In the 1980s, Foghorn Leghorn was brought into the ACME Animated Products department and made numerous changes, beginning dangerous, painful tests on the cartoons. Cartoon characters and objects obey their own comical laws of physics, and Project Sisyphus was an initiative of studying and harassing cartoon physics in order to improve ACME's human side products at the expense of the cartoons, knowingly putting dangerous and faulty products on the market in order to secretly study the results. Wiley is on ACME's record as a high usage user. Every single one of his failures has been by design. So here we learn a lot about the background here. Very interesting Very, like, you can really see the like the Who Framed Roger Rabbit, Who Framed Roger Rabbit influence in this aspect. You know, giving like an element of like, you know, secrecy and like darkness to it, which is really interesting. After discovering the truth about Project Sisyphus, Dr. Lorry was captured and imprisoned in a portable hole, which ACME covered up with a story about his eloping with his secretary. Decades later, he managed to escape by sheer luck and is now in hiding on the outside. Before Dr. Lorry can tell them anything else, cars pull up, forcing Avery's crew to run. The next day in court, Avery asks a witness, ACME's head of PR, about Project Sisyphus. She panics, and Buddy secretly has her ejected out of the courtroom. Infuriated by the cartoon antics, the judge declares a mistrial and the case is dismissed. Avery, undeterred, gives a passionate speech outside the courtroom to the press, publicly denouncing ACME and Project Sisyphus. When Avery returns to his motel, a huge commotion is outside. Avery finds from Paige that his speech has become a new sensation and that the case has been escalated to a congressional inquiry, with Foghorn Leghorn due to testify. Wile E. Coyote wants to go back to his cave home, but Avery convinces him to stick with him and come to the Congress hearing, lying that the Roadrunner will testify to get him to come. In their DC hotel room, Wiley finds out that Avery was lying about the Roadrunner testifying, and they get into a huge argument. Avery calls him out for using the case as a plan to catch the Roadrunner, telling him he'll never succeed in catching him. Hurt, Wiley storms out. Avery's partners call to tell him that the firm is officially bankrupt. Avery realizes that Wiley is gone and goes after him after finding a note in his plans showing that Wiley had come to consider him as a friend. Wiley roams the streets of DC and gets led into a trap by Tweety, leading to a whole comic chase action sequence involving anvils, magnets, etc. Avery catches up to Wiley, trying to apologize, but Wiley doesn't want to hear it. Tweety tells him about how he was abandoned by Dr. Lorry before ACME took him in, and Avery reveals to him that it's not true. Dr. Lorry was kidnapped by ACME. Realizing that ACME has been lying to him, Tweety pauses, giving them time to escape, but Avery crashes into roadwork and gets knocked out. When he wakes up, Wiley is gone. Wiley angrily tries to hitch a ride back to the desert, but sees ACME logos and products everywhere and realizes that he can't give up now. Avery arrives at the congressional hearing alone and in rough shape. Congressman Elmer Fudd, leader of the proceedings, yes really, tries to dismiss the hearings due to Wiley's absence, but Avery interrupts, giving another impassioned speech about Wiley's tenacity and how his refusal to give up and never stop hurting the Roadrunner no matter what setbacks come his way has inspired him to turn his own life around. Wiley, who has secretly entered the room, hears the whole speech and quietly takes his seat next to Avery. Recess is called. Buddy approaches Avery in the bathroom and compliments his speech. He gives him one last chance to drop the case, handing him $1 million check, which Avery rips up, now intending to see this through to the end, win or lose. After the recess, Avery cross-examines Foghorn Leghorn, asking him about Project Sisyphus and accusing him of knowingly releasing dangerous and faulty products and deliberately causing pain to millions of cartoons. Foghorn Leghorn rebukes him in a bitter speech, saying that ACME's technological developments and progress have all been for the greater good, even if people got hurt. That cartoons are immortal anyways, so it doesn't really matter if they get hurt because it's funny. Who even cares about Wile E. Coyote anyways, etc., etc. Avery brings up a surprise witness to prove that someone does care about Wile, the Roadrunner. Roadrunner testifies that he has witnessed Wile's ACME-related injuries and suffering, and shows that he sees Wile as a friend, asking, "Are you coming back?" The Roadrunner really does care about Wile and enjoys the chase in his own way. Wile, finally presented with the opportunity to catch the Roadrunner, chooses not to, moved by his friendship. Despite the testimony, Congress dismisses the case. Avery is finished. Buddy and Foghorn gleefully rub in their victory, and Wile springs his trap, suddenly setting off an elaborate Rube Goldberg machine that traps Foghorn in a birdcage. Not a real victory, but a bittersweet parting shot. Avery returns to the law firm, expecting his career to be over, but finds the office swarmed with a huge crowd of cartoons who all wish to press charges of their own against ACME, inspired by the news coverage of Wile's case. A tip-off from Dr. Lori leads Avery to a cache of videotapes from Project Sisyphus showing proof of willful negligence by ACME going back years. Dr. Lori returns home to an emotional reunion with Granny, while Tweety secretly watches remorsefully. We skip forward a few months, and Avery's law firm, with Paige now as a full-time member of the team, is far from bankrupt, now bigger and better than ever, having been renowned for taking on ACME and other corporations in several cases, with federal charges against ACME expected to follow. Avery is happy, filled with a renewed sense of purpose. Wile returns to the desert, having a friendly reunion with the Roadrunner before the chase begins once again. The movie ends with a "Where are they now?" card, "Where are they now?" cards, explaining that Foghorn and Buddy are ultimately sentenced and imprisoned in a low-security prison, spending most of their time playing golf. Marvin the Martian takes Foghorn's position as head of the animated products department. And Wile E. Coyote continues to chase the Roadrunner, but has never caught him yet, but maybe someday he finally will. Maybe tomorrow. And that's it. That's the end of the movie. Yeah, I liked it. It's a good story. It's very creative. Like, they bring in all these other characters that I wasn't really expecting. And obviously, like, they're doing the like, as a court case. It's very interesting that it's like a cartoon is suing that Wile E. Coyote specifically is suing ACME over this whole thing, and all of like the mystery and the betrayal and all of this stuff. These are just so many great ideas. Oh man. Yeah, I really like this movie, you guys. I mean, I like this story. Like, I'm glad that at least I got to read it, to know what it was all about. But it also makes me sad that no one is ever going to see this movie. Like, that's crazy. What are they doing over there? Jeez. Terrible. I mean, like, yeah, and because they did a similar thing, situation with the Batgirl movie a few years ago, and I could see that maybe that movie was not that great, although, you know, I am very disappointed that we didn't get to see, Brendan Fraser was in that movie, and Michael Keaton was in that movie, and we'll never get to see those performances, and, you know, whatever the story was, it's like, fans of that franchise, they could have had something they could enjoy, you know? I mean, like, even that random Fantastic Four movie from, like, 1994, like, I'm sure nobody's, like, crazy about it or whatever, but, you know, you could put it on sometimes and just be like, hey, let's have fun and watch this movie. And then you have this, which was, like, a legitimately great script. And I have no doubt that all of the production design and the acting and the technical aspects all would have been great. It's unbelievable. It's shocking. Like, how could they not make this movie? I don't know. Ay, ay, ay. Oh, what a shame. That's Hollywood. That's power. Abuse of power. Ay, ay, ay. What a mess. So that's it. That's all I got to say pretty much about this movie. Looking forward to hear what other people have to say, but I think that the reaction to this is going to be overwhelmingly that, you know, a positive reaction to the story, and obviously a negative reaction and a lot of frustration that this film is not released. Like, I can't believe, man, like, every time I think about it, like, it boggles my mind. Like, you have a completed movie, and, like, it's good, and they're just gonna bury it, and it's tied in with, like, a franchise, so, like, people will watch it. But I don't know what the deal is. Like, it's a tax write-off or something? Terrible. Terrible. Ay, ay, ay. Alright, well, I think I am going to call it. So thank you guys for checking out my video. Let me know your thoughts down below. And I don't know, who knows? Maybe there'll be some miracle. Maybe some way we can revolt and maybe we can sue Warner Brothers just like ACME got sued. I don't know. Anyways, thank you again for watching, and I wish you all fortune and glory. Bye-bye.